Hi guys, it's Jordan from P&P Campers. Just going to be doing a handover video on this AutoTrail Dakota. So it's based on the 2014 Fiat Ducato chassis, and we are on the 4.25 ton chassis. Air conditioning information is just here. Your paint code is just here, so that's Fiat 691A, and that is actually the blue colour that you can see on the side of the vehicle here. The original chassis plate is that one, but the one that you actually want to look on is this one here that says AutoTrail on it. So under the bonnet, over on the left hand side, we have got your washer fluid at the top back sort of side there, power steering fluid, engine coolant, brake fluid, and engine oil. Your engine oil dipstick is this one just down here. Over towards the right hand side of the bonnet, we've got your air filter box just down here. And because your engine battery sits under the floor in the cab, you've got a positive terminal for the engine battery just here, and a negative terminal just here. So if you wanted to jump start the vehicle, you can do so from those two. So you get onto the near side of the van, so the passenger side, we've got your bonnet release handle just here inside the passenger door. You've got your jack and wheel brace kit just down here. And you have got your LPG locker opening handle just here behind the passenger seat. So when I pull on that handle, if you watch what happens, basically pulls these things apart and allows you to open up the gas locker from in there. The gas locker itself, you've got a single 6 kilo propane bottle, and the actual pigtail hose there has got a 2024 date on it, so you've got till 29 to replace that pigtail hose. To turn the bottle on, go anti-clockwise around to the left, and to turn it off, we go clockwise all the way around to the right. You've then got on the actual regulator itself, you've got a little green button here. When you press on that, it's basically like a valve to allow the gas to go through. You've got a crash sensor on there, so it should, if you have a look down there at that sticker, it should basically isolate the gas. If you accidentally leave this bottle on, it should isolate the gas if you are in a crash. So every now and again, you might need to press that little green button there in for a couple of seconds just to purge the gas through once you've turned the bottle back on, just due to it, you know, maybe cutting out by accident at some point, you know. So that's what that is just down there. The diesel filling point is this one just here behind the passenger door as well, so you will need your ignition key to get that to open up. Right, so obviously on this near side we have got the full size wind out awning. Now on these AutoTrails, they do sort of embed them in the side of the van a little bit, which means that you don't get quite such a big overhang, which is always quite a nice thing, stop you catching it on stuff. So we've got the electric step. Now the step will go in when you press the lock button on the key fob. So it locks the doors, including this side door here, and then it brings the step in. It will also open up when you press the bottom button on the key, because that's the rear door opening switch. So it's quite a nice little feature on that one. You have got a manual switch that you can press just up here. The bottom little black button there will bring the step in and out manually if you want it to as well. Got these two vents just here. These are both to do with your fridge. So if you ever needed to get access to the back of the fridge, that's where you would go to for that. Next thing along is the Truma boiler vent. So that's your heating and hot water. So you will feel hot air pumping out through here when you've got it lit up. So just bear that in mind. Next door to that, we've got your external gas point. So there is a fitting for that, which I will show you around on the other side. But that is your external gas point, so your barbecue point basically. And then the last locker here at the end is essentially just another sort of storage locker and allows you access to the underneath of the bed. So the back of the van, we've got a reversing camera up there at the top, nicely sort of hidden away. We've got your bike rack and tow bar at the bottom. Your spare wheel sits inside this unit at the back here, as you can probably tell. So you just basically undo this little cap just here, this comes away, and then there's a big centre nut to undo, and you'll be able to take out the spare wheel. So the first locker we get to at the back on the offside is the toilet cassette locker. So to remove the actual toilet cassette, we lift up on the little orange tab here and then pull the cassette towards us. Once you've got it to this point, you'll be able to take the cassette all the way out and walk it away to wherever you need to go. All we need to know from there really is that you twist this open and drain it out from this little cap here. So that's your draining point. And when you're physically draining it out, you need to hold down that little orange button there at the back. You need to put about a cap's worth of the blue fluid back inside this little container here, give it a little swoosh around, and then push it all the way back in, and make sure that the little orange handle there goes back over its little flap. So the next thing we get to is actually down low, we've got your freshwater drain off points. Okay, so you need to open both of those up if you want to drain out the freshwater tanks. Above that, we've got your external hot and cold water point. So that's, you know, again, in this little cupboard down here, I'll just show you quickly. In this little cupboard down here, we've got your external gas point fitting, which I said about for on the near side under the awning, and we've got your external hot and cold shower point. So they're both inside this little cupboard here. So yeah, external hot and cold water. Above that, we've got your freshwater filling point. Just there, so that's how you would fill up your fresh tank. I will just say, whilst I'm stood here, the bodywork on this van is absolutely just lovely all the way around, to be honest. It's been really, really nicely kept all the way around, super, super shiny and flat. So yeah, really nice vehicle. So I've got this lower sort of long locker here opened up. The reason I've done that is because you've got a couple of things to point out. So you've got your wastewater drain off point just there, all right, which is just a big handle on the side of it. You've got your electric hookup point just there as well. And we've got your leisure battery. So the idea behind having the hookup in there is essentially that you can have the hookup plugged in and still have the cable running out the bottom there and lock this cupboard up so nobody can get to it. So that's a nice handy little thing. Same with the leisure battery. Obviously, once you close that down and locked it, you're not going to get in there anytime soon. So next thing I tend to show is the cab. So if I just jump in. So we've got super low mileage on this cab. So we've got 27,000 miles on here, which for a vehicle like this, you know, essentially like a delivery driver's van, if you like, in the basic form, it is a ridiculously low mileage. These are quite happily going to do 200, 300,000 miles. So yeah, super low mileage on this one. Drives as you would expect as well. Super, you know, absolutely perfectly. So we've got the cab blinds, first of all. So you've got the blinds that come across. If I just show you, squeeze these two buttons together, basically. Squeeze them together, and then the cab blind will come all the way across. Makes a little bit of a funny noise when it first comes out. But yeah, that is your cab blinds. Obviously, you got the one on the passenger door there as well. And you've got these ones here on the centre windscreen that meet in the middle. So if I just pull that back across, just make sure that you get it nice and neat when you're putting it back, and then you'll hear a nice little click like that when it's locked. You've got a nice high spec actually in the cab, so you've got most of the extras that you can expect to have really. You've got the locking and unlocking button just here from the door. You've got your electric windows and your electric adjusting mirrors. On the actual front here, you've got your headlight adjustments from this one. You can reset your trip, so that's your mileage over sort of thing. You can reset that if you want to. Not the whole mileage, obviously, but certain amounts of miles, your trips. So you've got your washers and wipers on this right-hand stalk. You've got your cruise control stalk just down here on the left-hand side as well. So you have a little resume button here on the side, and main on and off just there. You can change the speed by pushing it up and down. Above that, we've got your main indicator and lights stalk, and obviously that's where you would use your flash there as well. So you're based on the 6-speed manual gearbox. Okay, to get into reverse, we're going to lift up on the back here, push over and up to the top left-hand side. That'll engage reverse. We've then got in the centre, obviously all of your standard heater controls there. The only thing I tend to point out is that you've got your air conditioning switch is this one just here. Below that, we've got another option here of unlocking and locking the cab from inside. Hazard lights, fog light, and this button here doesn't do anything at all because the original rear window has obviously been removed when it was turned into a motorhome. So we've also got, just so that you're aware, you've got a nice doubled in Pioneer head unit. That's a nice CD player, DAB, all of the sort of modern stuff that you come to expect nowadays. The only thing I will point out about this, we don't tend to really go into any detail about these because this is all just sort of aftermarket stuff, but I will just say the little bit on the left just here, you can actually take this off. Okay, now without this radio will not do a single thing. It won't work. All right, and I'll just point out that we have been, when we first got this van, we found that if we had this plugged in, it tended to sort of drain the battery out a little bit over a certain period of time. So to stop that from happening, if you literally just press this little button here on the bottom left, it just pulls this out a little bit and it will basically just turn off. It can't be on without that thing on there. You can see the screen's gone off now. All right, so you just sort of put it roughly into place. It won't turn on because it needs to be pushed all the way in order to work. So just pushing that little button there and then having this little front piece popped out means that the radio is completely isolated and it won't do anything. So that's just, to be honest, I tend to say that on all the motorhomes that have got like a double DIN, like, you know, an upgraded unit here, because 9 times out of 10 they end up draining the battery out. So both of these front seats swivel round, so you've got a little handle on the side of both of these seats, this one just here, and when you pull that, you'll then be able to completely swivel the seat to wherever you want it to be, like so. So twisting it back round, it will lock back into place automatically, and that's it. They're actually the factory fitted swivel seat bases as well, so they're nice and reliable. Right, so I'm going to shut the door now and then I'll just show you through the inside of the van. So just briefly, the layout in here, so we've got 2 side settees at the front. Now these side settees basically just pull together into the middle and then the cushions lay down flat, and there you have it, a nice big double bed. All right, so they tend to advertise these vans as a 3/4 berth because, you know, this might be like a large single or a small double. So that's the idea behind the 3/4 berth thing. Obviously, we've got your nice big French fixed bed at the back of the van there. Loads of space to get around here. And then towards the back, we've got one of the biggest shower rooms I've ever seen in my life. And I've been doing this a long time. So you've got this shower room here. It's about twice the size as your standard motorhome shower. So to be honest, it's about the same size or bigger than some people's showers at home. So it's quite impressive really for a motorhome. But anyway, so what I'll do is I'll show you around the sort of basics of the electronics and stuff like that, and then I'll run you through all of your appliances, and then I'll just see if there's any odds and sods left at the end. So first of all, with an AutoTrail, I haven't actually even looked, but I know that it'll be in here. So this is basically your main power supply unit. Okay, that is what it is. This is a Sargent power supply unit, and it's an EC500. All right, so this is essentially the heart of the vehicle. So everything electronic goes to this box and then gets diverted around to wherever it needs to go to. Okay, so this is the heart of the vehicle. Now you've got, on here, you've got a load of 12-volt fuses. I'll just zoom in a little bit. You've got a load of 12-volt fuses here on the left, and you've got some trip switches here on the right. So this is all 12-volt stuff. This is all leisure battery related, and this is all mains hookup related. So on the left-hand side of this, you'll see this massive sticker here, and this sticker essentially tells you everything you can possibly need to know about this power supply unit. So it tells you what every single one of the fuses does and what size and color it should be. It tells you what each one of the trip switches does as well and what size rating it is. So, you know, for example, let's just say we come into the van one day and we can't get any of the lights to come on inside the van. Now, obviously, we're at the end of the phone anytime if you want any help, you know, other than this. But if you are away on holiday and we can't help at the time, then let's just say, as I said, lights have gone out, can't get any lights to come on. I'll have a little look down here. Look at the 12-volt fuses, and we can see there, look, lighting circuit 1, lighting circuit 2. So we've got fuse number 10 and 11. We can have a little look in here. We've got 10 and 11 there, and we can just check them. You know, it's literally just a case of just have a little look at it. Does it look all right? Is it broken? And yeah, that's honestly all you need to do. So that's kind of the idea behind having the power supply unit readily available and easy to access. So once you've had a look at those, you can have, you know, if obviously that fuse is okay, then obviously you can give us a ring and we can see what's going on. But that's the basic idea behind this. So that's your 12-volt fuses. That's all leisure battery related. The trip switches here, as I said, they're all to do with when you're hooked up on the mains. Okay, so if you're hooked up on the mains and you can't get something, similar idea really, if you can't get something to work on the mains, have a little look in here, make sure that these are all in the upright position, and then go from there. You know, normally with motorhomes, normally it is something simple like that. And to be honest, even if it was me, you know, I'd just sort of do this day in, day out. If somebody comes into me and says, well, my lights aren't working and they're in an AutoTrail, I'll open this cupboard up and that's the first thing I'll check. I'll see if the fuse is okay. So it's a really simple thing, but it is normally the way forward. So above the 12-volt fuses here, we've got a couple of things. We've got something that says system shutdown, and that is basically just a main isolator for everything. So if you press that there, every single thing that's 12-volt related will just die. Basically, it'll be off. So you can do that if you want to. If you're going to leave the van in storage for a little while or something, I would recommend pressing that button. Just to allow it to all completely relax and, you know, turn everything off properly. These little buttons here, you haven't got to do anything with those. They are just basically correlated to the control panel over there above the door, which I'll explain to you in a minute. But basically, if I was to press the power button here, you'll then see that the control panel over here has also turned off. Vice versa, if I turn the power button on here and go back over to the power supply unit, power button's back on. So it kind of just, they're directly linked. So these buttons here are completely useless. You don't need to press any of these because you can do it all from the control panel up there. And then these things over above the trip switches are basically just isolators for the individual appliances. So if you wanted to isolate the power down to your charger, which actually is behind here in these ones, then you can press that one there, space heater, water heater, etc. Now you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to press any of those buttons because they're all individually powered anyway. It's only really the charger that you would ever need to worry about. If you wanted to replace the charger or something, you can isolate the charger from there. But to be completely honest, if I was doing anything mains power related, I would just make sure that the mains wasn't plugged in. That's probably the easiest way to do it. But yeah, that's the control panel there. The only other thing in this cupboard to point out is that you've got a switch just here, which is the power switch for your entertainment system just here underneath. Now these are a factory fitted thing, and you'll see once I've turned that button on there, I will then be able to turn this system on. Okay, so yeah, that's the idea behind that. Now you have also got in this cupboard to the right, we've got your TV aerial and your TV aerial booster up there. If I turn that on, got live TV. Okay, and I haven't actually even had to move this aerial at all. We got a really good picture. So that is the ease of it. If you wanted to literally watch TV, you've quite literally just got to turn on your TV aerial booster. If you find that your signal finder is showing red up here, then it means you just need to move the aerial around a little bit, but it's really not difficult at all. And you'll see when I turn this booster off, signal stops. And so that's the idea behind it. All right, but it really is as simple as that. Turn the entertainment system switch off. That whole system there is then isolated, and then I push this away. And that's it. That's your TV system. Super, super simple. So that's those two cupboards up there. Now, running through the control panel, there's not really a huge amount of run through on these ones. Once you've turned the power switch on, you can then turn on your water pump from that one there and your lights from that one there. So they're your main sort of three switches. Once the power's on, you can then press this button here at the top and have a little flick through the different sort of screens, if you like. So if I press on this one, it'll bring us the timer, or the clock, sorry. This is where you can set your alarms and things like that. It's up to you if you want to do that. Leisure battery voltage, battery data. So this is essentially just telling you the capacity in the battery, how much solar power is going into the battery, and how many amps of power are being drawn from the battery at any one time. So all the time that this one says minus something, it means that the power is there's more power being taken from the battery than there is being put in. All right, so that is all perfectly normal, as you can see there. If you had the electric hookup plugged in, you'd expect this leisure battery voltage to be up towards like 14. So it does make a big difference when you are hooked up. Next screen along is going to be active battery, system levels. So you've got the vehicle battery voltage, leisure battery voltage, fresh tank level, and waste tank level. All right, I am actually going to have a little look in a minute to see if I can change on here the solar panel to see if it can sort of charge up the leisure battery a bit more than the vehicle. But anyway, it's not really a big problem. All right, so that's the control panel. The rest of the buttons here, you've got your awning light switch. We've got another light switch just here. We've got your leisure battery, or your engine battery selector, if you like. So essentially, you want to be having it on leisure battery. When you're using power in the back end of the van, you need to have it on leisure battery, because if we use the vehicle battery's power up, as you can imagine, we won't be able to start the engine up again. So make sure that you're using the leisure battery whenever you've got power on in the back of the vehicle. And then the last one is your tank heater switch. So if you want to use the tank heaters, you can turn that button on there. All right, so that's the control panel. There's honestly not anything more to it than that. It's very, very simple. So to the left of that, we have got a mains powered socket. So these sockets here will not work unless your hookup is plugged in. We've got a 12-volt socket and a TV aerial socket here as well. So the idea, I suppose, is that you could have a TV on this little area here somewhere. Obviously, you could have a telly up here, which by the looks of it is where somebody has had it in the past, hence the aerial cable and the 12-volt point. But yeah, so it's up to you really how you want to have the TV system. If you want to just use that one at the front, by all means, obviously you can do that. Some people on these AutoTrails will have them here as well. It's quite a common place to have it, hence why you've got another system there, another option of the aerial socket, main socket, and 12-volt. So what I'll do is I'll run you through the heating and hot water now. So this is this little system up here that says Truma. So this is what you call a Truma iNet Ready system. Okay, so iNet Ready is essentially just because it's the modern unit here, but it's all on this one system. So your heating and your hot water is all from this one system. So it will tell you the time on the front of it, and you can go through and change that by scrolling through here and hovering over the clock symbol, and then you can change the time. But basically the idea is that you use this little thing here as a mouse. You scroll over the things that you want to click on. So the first one here that we're hovering over is our heating. So that's our little caravan with the temperature gauge inside of it. Press on that and it says off. So the heating at the moment is completely off, and we don't, to be honest, we don't need it on right now, but I will just show you how you use it. When you got to here, you can scroll through and choose your temperature. So I'll choose 20 just for argument's sake. Press that, and then the heating is now going to come on. And it really is as simple as that. So you just choose your temperature and it will come on. The next one over, go back. Next one over is our water heating. So click on that one. That is also off. I've got 40, 60 or boost. So they are the options for the boiler. Now I don't want the water on at the moment because I haven't got any water in the tank, so I'm not going to do that. Next one over is our energy selector. So if I click on that one, we've got gas, mix 1, mix 2, electric 1 or electric 2. Now for the moment, I can only use gas because I haven't got the electric hookup plugged in. If I had the hookup plugged in and I had the gas on, then I could use mix 1 and mix 2, because that means it's just basically a mixture of mains power and gas. Okay, the electric that it's using is on mix 1, it's about 4 amps, mix 2, it's about 8 amps. Okay, so that's if you're in a real hurry for the gas and you've got, real hurry for the heating on hot water, but you've got the gas and the electric plugged in at the same time. If you've got just the electric plugged in and you don't have the gas on, then you can use electric 1 or electric 2, and that'll basically just allow you to use it all on the mains, no gas whatsoever. for the most part, and most people will just use it on the gas. So if I scroll over it, most people will leave it here on gas. Okay, just purely for ease and the fact that, you know, you don't always have a hookup plugged in, but you do normally have a gas bottle on board. So that's why you would normally do that. But yeah, so the last thing to show you, go back, is this little fan symbol. When I click on the fan symbol, we've got eco, high, and they are the two options for when you've got the heating on. Okay, if I was to turn the heating off, go all the way back around to 0. If I was to turn the heating off and then I go back to the little fan symbol, we've got vent, and then we've got 1 to 10. So vent here is where you would get this little symbol up here, is basically it's going to start pumping around cool air around these little circular vents. And it does genuinely put in quite a lot of nice cool air into the van. It's essentially just a way of cooling the van down. If it's really hot in summer, you can pump around some cool air around these vents. So, go back to the fan symbol, off. And as long as there's nothing above that little line there at the top, it means that your boiler is completely off and there's going to be no water heating, no heating, and no fan. All right, that's the same even from this home screen. If there's nothing above this little line here at the top, your boiler is off. So there you go. That is how you would use the Truma iNet Ready system. It is very, very straightforward, but it can just take a little bit of getting used to if you've not used it before. Now behind us, we've got the hot and cold water tap just here, obviously the standard sort of kitchen tap. Nothing really to explain about that. You've literally just got, it's just hot and cold water. You've got a little drainer on here as well and some worktop space there. When I pull this open, you've got some slide out cupboards down here. And you've also got a standard sort of AutoTrail thing. You've got this nice big opening cupboard down here as well. To the right of that, we have got your cooker systems. This is what you call a range cooker really in these ones. So you've got the option on here of using it on gas or electric, on the top here anyway. So you've got an electric burner ring here, and you've got the 3 gas burners. So if I was to light one of the gas burners up, it's literally just a case of ignition switch and the gas valve on. Okay, it's as simple as that. Same as any household cooker. And then we've got your mains one at the back there, which is from this little left-hand one here. So that will only work when your hookup's plugged in. Same ignition switch for the grill and the oven. And the grill is this one, oven is this one. Make sure that your glass lid is down before you start driving. It's really important. The microwave above the cooker there, that will only work when your electric hookup is plugged in as well. So that's a mains powered appliance. I believe these are the factory fitted ones, these little Daewoo ones. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty certain they are. Right, so behind us again, so we've got the sort of over cupboard locker here. Now, a lot of people used to use these lockers as a microwave locker, but you don't need to do that because you've got one there. So what you want to use this locker for is completely up to you. I've seen lots of different people use it for lots of different things. But anyway, so sorry about the alarms going off. So we've got the stack style fridge. This is a Thetford 3-way fridge. Okay, and essentially, as you can probably imagine, you can work out by the name of it, you've got 3 different options of using of getting this fridge cold, if you like. So when I click on this little button just here, which is touchscreen by the way, it basically allows you to go through all of your different options. Now, 2 out of 3 of the options at the moment are going to be giving us a fault code and flashing red. Okay, so we've got fault code number 10 for the mains, and we've got fault code number 6 for the 12 volt. Now this is because we haven't got the engine running, which is how you have to use the 12 volt option, the little battery symbol, and we don't have the electric hookup plugged in, which is why it won't work on the mains. So at the moment, the only physical way that I can actually use this fridge is on the gas, and I've got the gas on in the cupboard, so that's perfect. So you would go on here, you would click this button here, and you would choose gas, which is this little symbol here. Now Now you've also got the option of the A, which is what I've just chosen there, and that should basically automatically choose one of those three options for you in sort of correspondence with what you've got on. So if you've got the mains plugged in, it will choose mains. If you don't have the mains plugged in but you've got the gas on, it will choose gas. And if you've got the engine running, it should choose 12 volt. Okay. Now, I always have to mention on these fridges, and every single motorhome fridge is the same, by the way, it's not just these ones, that the way that to actually use the fridge is that you have to get the fridge cold first before you leave, either on the mains or on the gas. Okay, that's really important because basically the 12 volt option on the fridge, the little battery symbol, doesn't really get the fridge cold. All it really does is keep the temperature inside the fridge when you're driving. Okay, and I promise you that is the same on all of the fridges. The 12 volt option is just not powerful enough to get the fridge cold by itself. So you need to make sure that you pre-cool it before you leave, and then just basically switch over to your 12 volt one here for when you're driving. As I say, if you want to, you can leave it on automatic, so you've got the little A there, and it should do all of that for you. But I just like to explain how it works, just in case that doesn't work properly, and you can double check whether or not you're on the right sort of option. So to turn the fridge off completely, just press and hold on the power button. And that's it. That is the flame off and everything's turned off. So, to the right of the fridge, you have got your full-size standalone table inside there. All right, if you want to use that. As I say, you've got your French bed. Now, the French bed will be disguising the boiler down this little cupboard. So let me just lift this up. So another nice thing that the AutoTrails do, they give you these really nice strong struts so that you can actually lift this bed up completely with the mattress still on. So the boiler, let's have a little look down there. Just looking, oh there you go, over there. So basically this is the whole boiler. This is the heating and hot water system. You've also got your water pump next door to that as well. Not that you really need to do anything with that, but just pointing it out. But over there towards the back of the locker, you have got a little yellow tab. So the little yellow tab that you can see there, which is obviously a lot more easily accessible by that external locker door, but that is your boiler drain off point. So if you need to drain the boiler out of all of its water, which you would tend to do in the winter before you leave it for a little while, you lift the tab up to the position that it's in now, and that will drain all of the water out from inside that boiler. So that is what you'd need to do if you were to drain the boiler out of all of its water. You lift it up to where it is now, and that will drain everything out. When you come to refilling this boiler, or when you come to sort of using the vehicle again, you need to make sure that you lay that tab flat, lay it down, and then basically turn the water pump on and wait for it to pressurize, which will then mean that the boiler is actually full of water. And it's really important that you do that, because if you try and light the boiler up to heat the water inside of it, and it's empty, then it will probably overheat. So quite important to sort of allow that to fill up before you start using the boiler again. So from there, what else have we got? Zoom back out a little bit. We've got a nice big wardrobe here. A couple of things in there. So you've got a load of paperwork inside this wardrobe here for the vehicle. This is an additional bike rack arm. I'm not sure why that's in here, but that's, there you go. You've got a nice little vanity area here. So you can have a little, I suppose you can sit on the edge of the bed actually. So the last thing I'm going to show you is going to be the bathroom. Now, to be honest, I normally only show you how to use a toilet in the bathroom because it's literally just hot and cold tap there for the sink, hot and cold tap there for the shower, and that is genuinely it, apart from the toilet. So, to use the toilet, the seat here swivels to wherever you need to go, just so that you know that as well. So to actually use the toilet itself, you've got a little blue button up here. Press it once and it'll start a little fan. Press it again, and it should pump around the flush fluid. Now, because I haven't got any water in the tank, it's not going to do any of that, okay? So that's not going to work for me. But that is how you would flush put the flush fluid around. When you want to drain this out into the cassette, you push this handle to the right, and it will drain anything that's inside that bowl there into the cassette, and then just pull the handle back. And that is it. That is all you need to do. So, turn that little fan off by pressing the button. That is it. That is all there is to it. So I don't think I've missed anything out. Just having a look around now. Don't think I have. If you think I've missed anything out, or if you want anything else going over again or in any more detail, just give us a shout. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.